My brother's betrayal turned my sister against me, but I found the evidence to prove my innocence. My sister Emma and I, Kate, had always had a strained relationship, but we never understood why. Growing up, our brother Alex was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. He was charming, intelligent, and always seemed to be the glue holding our family together. Or so we thought. Our childhood was a tapestry woven with moments of tension, unexplained animosity, and constant competition. Emma and I were like oil and water, always clashing, always at odds. Meanwhile, Alex stood on a pedestal, a beacon of perfection. Our parents, doting and blind, never saw the strings he was pulling from behind the scene. I had long suspected that there was more to our discord than simple sibling rivalry. Over the years, I had caught glimpses of Alex's manipulative behavior, but I had never been able to prove it. My breaking point came one night after a particularly brutal argument with Emma. I knew I had to find out the truth. With my heart pounding and adrenaline coursing through my veins, I crept out of my room in the dead of night. The house was silent, the only sound the soft hum of the refrigerator. I slipped down the hall to Emma's room, my pulse quickening with each step. Her door was slightly ajar and I pushed it open just enough to see her sleeping soundly. This was it, my chance to uncover the truth. I tiptoed into her room, my eyes darting around in search of anything that might hold a clue. I knew Emma kept a journal and old family photos in a chest at the foot of her bed. I knelt down, carefully lifting the lid, and began rifling through the contents. My hands trembled as I sifted through the photos and pages of her journal. And then I found it. The letter was dated years ago, during our high school days, and it detailed a conversation Alex claimed to have had with me. In it, he told Emma that I'd been spreading vicious rumors about her, warning her to stay away from me. My blood ran cold as I read the words, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. Alex had been the one driving the wedge between us, feeding Emma lies and turning her against me. I slipped the letter into my pocket, my heart racing with the realization. Just as I was about to close the chest, I heard a rustle of sheets behind me. Emma stirred, her eyes fluttering open. She saw me crouched at the foot of her bed, her journal in hand, and her face twisted with fury. "Tate, what the hell are you doing in here?" she demanded, her voice a harsh whisper to avoid waking our parents. I can't explain," I stammered, but Emma was already out of bed, her anger palpable. "Get out," she hissed, shoving me towards the door. "Stay out of my room." I stumbled out into the hallway, my heart pounding. I tried to tell her about the letter, about Alex's manipulation, but she wouldn't listen. She slammed the door in my face, leaving me standing there, feeling more alone than ever. The next morning, Emma confronted Alex about what had happened. She believed I had been snooping through her things out of spite. Alex, ever the actor, played his part perfectly, feigning concern and confusion. Later that day, Emma stormed into my room, her face contorted with rage. In her hands were the remnants of her journals and photos, all ripped or burned beyond recognition. "What did you do?" she screamed, throwing the charred pieces at me. "Why would you destroy my things?" I protested, trying to calm her down. "It was Alex. He must have done this to cover his tracks." "You're lying," Emma shouted, tears streaming down her face. "I never want to speak to you again." She turned to leave, and in a desperate bid to stop her, I remembered the letter in my pocket. "Wait," I cried, pulling it out. "Look at this. Alex wrote it. He's been lying to you all these years." Emma snatched the letter from my hand, her eyes scanning the words. As she read, her expression shifted from anger to confusion, and finally to horror. She sank onto my bed, the letter clutched in her trembling hands. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God," she whispered. "He really did this." I sat down beside her, my heart aching for both of us. "Yes, Emma. He's been manipulating us, turning us against each other. We need to tell Mom and Dad." Emma nodded, her eyes still fixed on the letter. "We have to make them see the truth." The following evening, we called a family meeting. Our parents were confused but agreed to sit down with us. Alex, sensing something was amiss, wore a mask of innocence. Emma and I exchanged a determined glance, and I began to speak. "Mom, Dad, we need to talk about Alex," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. "We found proof that he's been manipulating us for years." Our parents exchanged worried glances, their eyes shifting to Alex, who feigned confusion. "What are you talking about, Kate?" Emma held up the letter, her voice trembling with emotion. "This, Alex. This letter you wrote to me telling lies about Kate. You've been turning us against each other, making us fight." Our parents took the letter, their faces pale as they read Alex's words. "Is this true, Alex?" our mother asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex tried to maintain his facade, but the weight of the evidence was too much. I can explain," he stammered. "You don't understand." "No, Alex," I interrupted, my voice firm. "We understand perfectly. You've been manipulating us, lying to us, and using us for your own gain." The room was thick with tension as our parents struggled to process what we had revealed. "How could you do this to your own family?" our father demanded, his voice shaking with anger. Alex, cornered and desperate, lashed out. "You always expected me to be perfect. I did what I had to do to stay on top." The room erupted into chaos. Our parents were yelling, Emma was crying, and I felt a mix of vindication and heartbreak. The brother we thought we knew was a stranger, a master manipulator who had torn our family apart for his own gain. As the dust settled, our parents demanded an apology from Alex. but it was clear that things could never go back to the way they were. Emma and I agreed that we needed time away from Alex to heal and rebuild our relationship. Over the next few months, Emma and I grew closer than ever, supporting each other through the pain of betrayal. Our parents, devastated by the revelation, sought therapy to understand how they had missed the signs. Alex, on the other hand, found himself increasingly isolated as the family distanced themselves from him. In the midst of this turmoil, Emma and I started to uncover even more about Alex's manipulative behavior. We discovered that he had not only played us against each other, but had also manipulated our parents into giving him preferential treatment. He had lied about us, twisted our words, and created scenarios that painted him as the victim and us as the aggressors. In it, Alex had claimed that I was struggling with school and needed extra tutoring, which he offered to arrange, at a cost, of course. In reality, I had never needed tutoring, and the money had gone straight into Alex's pocket. Similarly, he had convinced our parents that Emma was dealing with a non-existent bully, positioning himself as her protector and savior. Our parents were devastated. They had always believed Alex was the perfect son, the one who could do no wrong. They had overlooked his flaws, made excuses for his behavior, and ignored the warning signs. Now they were faced with the harsh reality that their golden boy was a master manipulator. One evening, as Emma and I were going through some old family videos, we found something that made our blood run cold. It was a recording from a family vacation when we were teenagers. In the video, Alex was seen whispering something to me and then to Emma, both of us reacting with confusion and anger shortly after. It was clear evidence of his manipulative tactics caught on tape. We showed the video to our parents. They watched in stunned silence, their faces a mix of horror and sorrow. Our mother, tears streaming down her face, turned to Alex. "Why?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Why did you do this to us?" Alex, looking more defeated than ever, had no answer. For the first time, he seemed to grasp the magnitude of his actions. The room was thick with tension, the weight of years of deception and betrayal hanging heavy in the air. Our parents decided it was time to take a stand. They told Alex he needed to seek professional help, to understand why he had felt the need to manipulate and control his own family. They also made it clear that until he made significant changes, he would no longer be a part of our lives. In the months that followed, our family began the slow, painful process of healing. Emma and I attended therapy sessions together, working through the years of resentment and mistrust that Alex had sown between us. Our parents, too, sought counseling, trying to understand how they had been so blind to Alex's behavior and how to prevent such toxicity from ever taking root again. Alex, meanwhile, struggled with the consequences of his actions. He had lost the trust and love of his family, and the isolation was a bitter pill to swallow. He eventually agreed to seek therapy, but it was clear that the road to redemption would be long and arduous. As time passed, our family found a new sense of equilibrium. Emma and I grew closer than we had ever been, our bond strengthened by the trials we had endured. Our parents, though still grieving the loss of the son they thought they knew, found solace in the fact that the truth had finally come to light. 1 year after the confrontation, we gathered for a family meeting. It was a chance to reflect on the past, acknowledge our growth, and decide how to move forward. Alex, having made progress in therapy, asked to be included. We were hesitant but agreed to hear him out. He apologized, not just with words, but with a sincerity that we had never seen before. He admitted to his faults, his insecurities, and the damage he had caused. He expressed a genuine desire to make amends and rebuild his relationships with each of us. It was a tentative step towards reconciliation. We knew it wouldn't be easy, and trust wouldn't be rebuilt overnight. But for the first time in years, there was a glimmer of hope. As we sat together, sharing our thoughts and feelings, I realized that our family, though scarred and battered, had survived the storm. We had faced the darkness and come out the other side, stronger and more united than ever before. The road to healing was long and difficult, but we were determined to reclaim our lives and our bond as a family. Alex's manipulation had nearly destroyed us, but it had also forced us to confront our issues, to be honest with each other, and to fight for the relationships that truly mattered. In the end, the truth had set us free, but it had also shattered the illusion of a perfect family. We were left to pick up the pieces and forge a new path forward, one based on honesty, respect, and genuine love. And though the scars of the past would always be there, they served as a reminder of the strength and resilience we had found within ourselves and each other.